الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وأهل بيته الطاهرين أما بعد. Dear brothers, Assalamu alaikum. Our previous lesson, if you remember, it was about the changes that occur upon word. Now, as I had said, that there are few kinds of changes that occur upon word. Either sometimes it is the change is amongst the letters, sometimes the change is amongst the signs, like the vowels that you see on top of the letters in the word. Sabar, pesh, like in Urdu you say, and in Arabic it's fath and dam. Now the changes we just as for us to understand the meanings of the words. Now, in our last session, we were discussing some of the changes that occur upon words. And I had discussed 5 of them, and the 6th one will be discussed today as well. Now, as if you can, Jafar, if you could share on the screen the page 1 that I've made some notes, and these notes are going to be really valuable for you, inshallah. And before, and while Jafri Saab is doing it, while Jafri Saab is sharing the page, let me tell you that it is that we are on at this stage. What we are doing is that we are just learning the changes that occur upon the words, upon the letters of the words, and what we are supposed to that situation, how we read on the word, which is how it's done. You see, we're at the moment we're discussing only 2 factors, and what we're supposed to do on the word with fa, right? Faul fail, ainul fail. Again, so what I was saying was that the changes that occur upon the letters and the words is the topic that we're going to discuss today. And these changes, we're discussing 2 things: the changes that occur and what we're supposed to do on the word scale. And now, why these letters or words are changed into other words, why letters are changed into other letters, why the vowel signs are changed amongst each other, other words, why it's done and how it's done will be discussed later on. But at this stage, we're just discussing 2 things. Please please stay on top of the page, please. At this stage, what we're discussing is the changes that occur in the letters and also in the words. As you can see on top of the screen, Jafri Sahib, could you please start from the beginning of the page? Thank you very much. Yes, the first page that you see. Yes, alim. Now this is the first example of the changes. Like I've said, I'm going to discuss 6 of them. Now we're discussing the first one very quickly, alim. Now, as you can see, once we have measured it with fa, ayn, and lam on the word scale, you will see that ayn and lam and meen are huruf asli, and alif is zaid, and alif is not same or similar to an and lam and mim, right? Alif is different. Now, so if harf zaid you see is not the same as the root letters, then it must be repeated on the word scale. Therefore, alif you see is repeated in fa'il. And you in fa'il, once you see the alif, it becomes clear, right? That's the first example. So if it's a harf zaid and it's not the same as the root letters, then it must be repeated on the word scale. I think that's clear. And now we can go to the example number 2. In example number 2, if harf zaid is the same as the harf asli, then it must not be repeated like above. What we do above, we repeated the harf zaid. Why? Because it was not the same as the root letters. Alim, fa'il, and lam mim. Alif was different from the root letters. Therefore, that harf zaid was repeated in fa'il and lam. So it was fa'il. But here you see jalbaba, 2 letters in the end. One letter is zaid, one is asli, right? But they're both the same. Bay and bay, both same, but one is asli and one is zaid. Jalbaba. So what do? We repeat the lam that you see over there. Therefore, jalbaba is equal to fa'alal, right? Jalbaba is equal to fa'alala. Now, these are the formulas that once you get the hang of it, these formulas are given for a reason. We're just discussing the formulas in the beginning. Later on, we're going to understand these formulas. But now, we're just memorizing the formulas, right? Jalbaba is equal to fa'alala. Now, because the 2 bars are same, lam and lam, you see there that lam is repeated, right? We did not say fa'bal, fa'bala, for example. We did not say, like in alim, we said fa'il, we repeated the alif, but here we're not repeating the ba. Why? Because ba and ba, both are same, but one is asli and one is zaid. Therefore, this formula, that's the second example of the change that occurs in a word and what you're supposed to do on the word scale. Now let's go to the third example. In the third example, we're talking about the signs or the vowels, the vowel signs like zaraba, zarab, zabar, sorry, in Urdu, fath, zam, and kasara in Arabic. Now, as you can see, kataba, kaf, you see has zabar, ta has zabar, and ba has zabar. So this formula tells you that once you measure it on the word scale, you have to do it in the same manner, the same pattern is repeated. Kaf has fath, so fa has fath. Ta has fath, ain has fath. Ba has fath, lam has fath. So kataba is equal to fa'ala. All of the vowel signs are repeated in the same pattern, the same way. That's formula number 3 of the words that have changes upon them. Now let's go to number 4. Now number 4, you see the pattern we discussed earlier, the pattern of the original word must be followed on the word scale. What does that mean? That means, yes, you see, the pattern of the original words must be repeated. By that I mean that once you have, like, for example, ilm, alim, right? Now we're going to refer to the root word. Whatever happened in the real original root word will happen in the word scale, right? Whatever happened in the root word, once you see the root word and then that root word changes into another word, then once you're going on the scale, and what you're going to do is you're going to refer to the same original word, original root word, and fa and lam, we're going to follow the same pattern with the root word, not with the word that we're discussing, right? I'll give you an example to make it even more clearer. You see, there are three examples that I'm going to give you now. Example number A on page number 3, the next page, please. What happens is that, for example, in A, both are asli. Yeah, you see a word. No, not this one, please. Page number 3. Page number 3, please. All right. While he's taking it out, I will explain. Yes, this one. Yes. You see, example number A. You see a word where in 2 letters, what has happened is, no, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the second. Oh, I'm getting close. Yes. No, you're taking on the wrong word. Yes. On top and before that, if you go before that, yes. Yes, please. Now, the tagheer qalbi means that if a letter is changed, you see 2 words, you see in a word where a letter, yes, the second page, page number 2, please. Page number 2. Yes, this page. As I was saying, now we are on the 4th example, the changes that occur. This change, we have to follow the rule that I told you. And over here, I'm going to give you an example. You see the word qala. The original word was qawala. Qala has derived from qawala. What are we going to do? Now over here, you see that this is called tagheer qalbi. Qalb in Arabic means heart. So the letter itself, it's referring to the word itself, the change that occurs in the root of the word. Now you can see wa la, wow has changed into alif, right? So qala was originally qawala. This is called tagheer qalbi, right? Now on the word scale, as I said, we have to follow a single rule, and that is that we have to follow the word from which this word was derived from, right? So qala, because it derived from qawala, it becomes fa'ala. Qala is equal to fa'ala. Why? Because qala has come from qawala. Therefore, it is fa'ala. If you put next to qawala, you will understand that the word was qawala. Therefore, it is fa'ala. And qala was the word that had derived from qawala. Therefore, qala is equal to fa'ala. Right? Number B is tagheer sakuni. Tagheer sakuni means if a vowel from the root word is changed. For example, yaqulu, qala yaqulu, right? Yaqulu is the word that has derived from yaqwulu. Now all of the letters are same, but you see that the vowel signs have changed. Ya had fath on it. Both of the yas have fath on it. But once you come to qaf, yaqulu had derived from yaqwulu. Qaf was originally silent, but the silent letter changed into madmum, and qaf has got dam on it. Therefore, yaqwulu became yaqulu, and therefore, because we have to go back to the same root word, the word where it had derived from, yaqulu had since come from yaqwulu. Therefore, on the word scale, it will be yaf'ulu, not yaf'ulu masalan. No, we're going to say yaf'ulu. Why? Because it was originally yaqwulu. Right? And the last of the four example that we're giving is taghyir hazfi. Taghyir hazfi. Hazf is omission, deletion, right? Taking something out, removing something. Hazf. Taghyir hazfi. Now, if a letter is taken out from the word, then it must be done also on the word scale. For example, qawl was the original word of qul. For example, there are so many verses in Quran that you see qul la as'alukum alayhi ajran. Qul. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to his prophet and he says, you know, give me a message, so he says qul, say. So qul was originally derived from the word qawl, right? Now you see in qawl, you see a waw there, right? But waw is omitted over a period of time. The waw was omitted, and once you see this omission, what do? You do the omission also on the word scale. Therefore, qul is equal to full, not fa'ul, right? When this is in this example, we're not going back referring to the original word. As you can see, the original word was qawl, but we're not saying, for example, fa'al. We're not saying fa'al because the original word was qawl. So we're not saying fa'al because the letter is omitted. If there is an omission, then the rule says that there's a formula for it. You also have to omit the letter from fi'an and lam. So here, qaf is fa'ul fail, waw is ainul fail, and lamul fail. But you see that the ainul fail is omitted, right? Ainul fail is waw, right? Waw is ainul fail. Ainul fail was omitted. Once there is an omission, we do the same on the word scale. So qul is equal to full. Qawl was the original word, right? Now that I think that's explained. Now we'll go to the other example, number 5, which is the merger of the letters. If you can scroll down, please. Thank you very much. Number 5, huruf mushaddad. Mushaddad. Once you see in Qur'an, for example, or the word Allah that you see tashdeed over there. Now, huruf mushaddad, if you see, what is a merger of letters? You see two lams. The two lams have joined together and become a single letter. This merger of letters, right? So that letter, those letters, those two lams will be called huruf mushaddad. The merger of the letters, right? Now, I'm going to give you an example of these words, huruf mushaddad, to make you understand. Page number 3, please. Now, once you go on that example that you see on top. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Now, either both of the letters that have merged into each other, right, and have become huruf mushaddad. Now, dal and dal, right? The word that you see if you on your page is madda, right? If you open this word, it was actually ma da da, right? The original letters that you see was ma da da. Now the two dals have united and merged into each other to become a single letter, which is not actually a single letter. Once you see madda, there are two letters, two dals, right? But you write madda and you write a tashdid on top of it. If you open madda, it will become ma da da, right? The two dals have merged into each other to become madda, right? And which will be equal to on the word scale fa'ala. Why? Because they're now the same formula that you refer to the same root word. And once you go back to the root word, which was madada, so madada, therefore the wazn or the scale or the once you weight on the word scale, that's the formula fa'ala. Because madda was originally madada. Therefore, madda is equal to fa'ala, right? That's example number A of huruf mushaddad. Now, example number B. Both were asli in A, and now in B, you see both are Zaid, right? Both are Zaid. What do we do when we want to see both are Zaid? Like the word live was. The word scale, you know, fa, and fa, ain, and lam are the three letters. What do we do when we see both Zaid? Live was is equal to if, wal. Jim, lam, and dal were the root letters. So Jim was fa'ul fail, lam was ainul fail, and the last dal was lamul fail. Alif was harf zaid, and wow that you see, both of them are zaid. There were two wows because ijlib was, there are two wows that have become one, and both of these wows that you see in the center, wow, the letter wows, both of these wows were zaid. And then you see alif, so alif is repeated because as you have read in the previous formulas, we're repeating the same formulas. But what we're doing here is that we're giving an example. If you have the letters where the both are zaid, letters are zaid, so both of the wows are zaid, right? Ijlib was is equal to if'al. Now we go to example number C of the fifth category. Now you find a word. Previously, we're discussing three types, right? Both are asli, we discussed that. Both are zaid, we discussed that. Now we find a word where one is asli and one is zaid. For example, the word muallim. In muallim, one of the lam is zaid and one of the lam is asli, right? Because muallim, as you know, and lam and mim are the root letters, ilm, right? And lam mim are the root letters. Now muallim, we're going to do the same thing. The lams that you see in the center, two of the lams have merged to become one. There's been a merger. So huruf mushaddad in these letters, this word is Muallim, so the huruf and mushaddad are the two lams, where one is zaid and one is asli. So muallim is equal to mufa'il. Mim is zaid, ain is fa'ul fail. The two lams that you see, one is zaid, one is asli. So in ain, you see we've put a tashdid on ain, and we've repeated the two ains like we repeated the two lams. So in ain, we repeated the ains. And in the end, muallim, mufa'il, right? Now we go to the other example. For example, the word Sayyid. Sayyid. Now it has come from the word say with. Sin, ya, waw, and dal. Sayyid was originally say with. Now, after ya, you see wow, right? Now, wow was changed into ya. Another change happened, right? So then it became say, yid, the two yas, one silent and the other is maksur. So it became sayyid. And the word became sayyid. The word on the top that you see, Sayyid, was originally from the word say with, which was from the word which turned into say yin. Therefore, we follow the same rule that we refer to the original word say with. So the word scale becomes fa'il. I'll explain again. The word was Sayyid, which was originally say with, right? Then there was a change. Ya remained the same, wow changed into ya. And then it became Sayyid in 3 steps. First word was say with, which became Sayyid. Then there was a merger between the 2 yas, and it became fa'il, right? Now, the last thing that I want to discuss about number 5 is that what do we do? Mudgham and mudgham fi. Once we find the mergers, once with the mergers that you've discussed, the first letter of the merger, the 2 lams, for example, in muallim, there were 2 lams. One was zaid, one was asli, right? So the first letter is mudgham. The second letter into which it has merged is called mudgham fi. The first letter in the 2 lams of muallim, right? Or madda, right? So the 2 dals. The first dal was mudgham, and the second dal is called mudgham fi. Now we're going to discuss the 6th and the last example of the word change that we're going to discuss today. And that is tagheer makani. Tagheer makani, like the word itself, if you can refer to the Urdu as well, tagheer comes from the change, right? Makani is the name, place, right? Makan is place in Arabic, and same as in Urdu. Tagheer makani is the displacement of letters. Now, this is a really rare kind of a thing that happens, but it does happen. And why it happens is like it has happened because of over a period of time, people have the tendency of changing words. There is no hard and fast rule or any formula for us to understand how it happened and why it happened, but it happened. Why? Because people over a period of time, they changed the letters. Then there was a displacement of letters amongst a word, inside a word. For example, you see the word, if you go scroll down, please, you'll see the word Ya'is. Now, Ya'is was originally A'is. So now in between these two words that you see, Ya has changed. The first letter has taken the place of the second letter. And the second letter has taken the place of the first letter, right? So Ya'is has become A'is. What do we do in this kind of a situation? Well, in the same situation that we did before, we're going to refer to the root word. The root word is Ya'is, came from, right? Now, if you can scroll down, please. Yes, Ya'is came from the word A'is. Therefore, the wazn, or on the word scale that you see, the wazn is going to be the same. Af'il, A'is. Ya was, ya, there is a zir, maksur. So Af'il, Ya'is is the word A'is. You're looking at the word in the center, A'is. Yeah? There's been a display for it becomes Af'il. How? You see, Hamza was Zabar. There was a Zabar on Hamza. Therefore, you do the same. You bring in Hamza, and then you see the fail, the foul fail is Ya, right? And it is silent. So that's also silent. And in Ain, you see that it was, for example, the scene was, for example, Maksur. So it is Af'il. So that's the sixth one that we have discussed so far. And I think that was a repetition with that from the previous lecture. But then the sixth one wasn't discussed. But and also I wanted to explain further what we had learned. And inshallah, tomorrow we're going to discuss the different kinds of words, right? So I think it's enough for today. If there are any questions, please let me know.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Thank you very much. Any questions we have?
No, I think there are no questions. So I think it's enough for today. And inshallah, see you tomorrow, same time, 9:30. Inshallah, I'll be on time. I'm really sorry there was a problem in the internet today. Apologies for that. Inshallah, tomorrow, hopefully there's not going to be any problem. And inshallah, tomorrow we're going to continue from here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.